Welcome to the Fractional podcast, where we share stories of operators doing amazing, incredible things and raising capital from everyday investors. Today, we have the fabulous Brian Tran and Ray Cho, who are the founders of Invest to Riches, and they did an incredible raise for their fix and flip out in Danville, California. It was so hot where I personally didn't even get to make it as one of the investors in the raise. Brian and Ray, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for letting us join, and thank you for coming to our headquarters.
More money, more honey, right?
Right.
Okay, well, I wanna double click on that. How did that even come about?
Sometimes I have a thing where it's like I go into blackout mode, right? Where I don't know, and I just, when the camera's on or when I'm speaking in front of people, I just blink. And then, but my body's moving and the words are flowing. And then, I don't know, it just sounded good. And it's a phrase that's been around, but I guess that's now our phrase. He's got a lot of phrase. Yeah, I got tons to his head. I don't know, magically, he's really creative, and all that just comes out of his mouth. From his brain to his mouth.
Coin by Brian.
Yes.
Well, I wanna start from the top. So we're all Bay Area natives here. I personally was way too scared to invest in the Bay Area, do flips here, but you guys have totally found magic, and that's how you built your entire empire. Tell us what it was like, doing the first get around and how it scaled to where you guys are at now.
When it's all it's all right? It's not like I grew up in the Midwest where homes were $100,000, $200,000. I grew up in the Bay Area, and I sold real estate in San Francisco. So all I knew were $1 million homes. And so when you kind of when you do it, you get used to it. And when you get used to it, it becomes normal. And I think that's really what it was for us. And even now, it's the more flips we do, we just realize that's just a number. Like, let's not get emotional. It's business. Granted, we don't want to lose money, but, just get the deal. And if the numbers make sense, pull the trigger.
Yeah. And for me, I wasn't always big time like Brian. So when I came into it, he showed me this one flip in Pittsburgh. That was my first one. And it was like 400,000. So the entry level was really low. And that really just proved the concept for me that it can be done. And then as once that kickstarted everything, then we were like making, offers over $1 million. Now we're in the 2 million range. So it all starts somewhere. Really, just getting comfortable with spending the money is what it did.
Sometimes you got to grow a pair.
What's the most horrifying flip story that you guys have been through?
I think Danville, full transparency, Danville is probably the most horrifying because it's not so much the physical aspect of the home that we're scared of. It's always will we get out unscathed, right? Now, granted, for my investors and everybody listening, I personally guarantee all your money. It's not a lot, so I'm not worried there. But I just don't like taking L's, right? But that's where you get scary. But we bought crack houses, we bought meth houses, we bought houses filled dirt to Chris. Burnt houses. We bought everything. And those homes are not what I'm scared of. What you're scared of are the ones where you use money. And now with investors' money, though, that's what I'm really worried about.
We made it through sometimes unscathed where we thought we might break even or even lose a little bit. And we ended up just making a little bit over just like 20, 30,000 in profit. But this time might feel a little different. But I think as kind of veterans in the game, we understand that we're in the game for the long term.
Yeah.
And with all the other projects going, we'll come up on top still, even if we do lose money on Danville. Hopefully we do not. We're still waiting on offers. We still, I think we can go another week even.
So we got, honestly, we up to you. But it's just seeing the market right now. It's like, I think it is getting better. So I'm hopeful. My good man Trump doing his job. Jerome Powell is doing his job. So I think things are going to look up. So, but if I were to tell your audience, just don't be afraid. As long as you don't quit and you're in the game for the long run, like what Ray said, you might lose 100,000 here, but let's say the next 4 or 5 flips, you make 300,000-400,000. So what's your net gain? Right now, I do know some flippers that lose and lose and lose, but hey, I always say, even when you lose, you learn, and learning is a form of winning. So reframe your mindset.
Yep, that's amazing. Well, I think iteration is key, and I love what you said. Like, that is the entire belief of Fractional, is the idea where you can learn and earn at the same time. And I know you talked about how you guys offer personal guarantees for your investors, which I think is just huge in terms of how you guys think about building investor relationships, making it a great experience, both financially and from an educational perspective. And I want to learn more about, when you guys were starting out, did you already think about using other people money? When did that transition or shift in mindset happen?
I was right off the bat. He showed it to me. I was like, no, I'll fork it over. But he was like, nah, keep that in your pocket, right? You need that for the runway for the year. Let's just utilize hard money. Let's utilize private money loans, and we'll be no money in. And I was just like mind blown that was a thing. People would just give us money. We don't have to invest in the project really, except for the sweat equity and project management, and just make that profit off of that. How did you come up with that?
I mean, the idea was always around. I mean, I grew up reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, where it was like OPM. He had a book called OPM, Other People's Money, I think. And so the concept has always been around in my mind, but unlocking the ability to actually do so just took time. Like the first flip I did use hard money lender, but then the rest of it was with my money. And I utilized credit cards, which is also a form of OPM. But at the end of the day, the bulk of it was still my money. And I realized that this is going to take too long, right? Like I'm not going to be able to buy 2 to 3 projects that are good. And so that's when the idea formed. Like, look, we just got to raise money. Like, I think once you build the confidence in yourself that you have the skills to pay the bills, then you could just start taking people's money. I don't recommend it if you're brand new, right? Like, your reputation is everything. And if you don't know what you're doing and you borrow money and you get unlucky and things don't go right, you done burned all your bridges. But I don't think that's the case here.
Yeah, then I think the entirety of raising capital is really built on trust. And you guys have built the groundworks for trust. I see that in the communities that you guys run and everyone around you. What do you think laid all the foundations of doing that?
It's easier said than done for us because I think we're just genuinely good people. And it sounds like, you guys listen, you guys don't know who I am, but I'm not here to screw you over. I invite people always to our headquarters, so you know where we are. I have multiple businesses, so I can't just run away,
I think a lot of it has to do with the way we approach our conversations and relationships. Like a lot of times I go to events, I'm not there asking people for anything. I'm just there to have a conversation, just naturally get to know them and be genuinely interested. And just by doing that, people just gravitate towards you because they're like, yeah, this guy's a real person.
Yeah.
He wants to know about me and how we can help them. So once you lead with value first, people just come to you and like, yeah, hey, let's do a deal together. You sound like a good guy that is just going to help me out in the long run.
Yeah. I think that abundance mindset is huge. And that's actually how I knew of you guys. I was following you both on social media. And I think there's something very humbling about your approach where, you talk about your projects, you talk about real estate, just like real people would. It's funny, it's super relatable. And, you guys are on the aisles of Home Depot and just pointing at crap and all sorts of things. Right. And that is so different from, a whole different other persona that you often see on social media where, people are, just uncasually flexing their Rolexes and whatnot, right? Where they're being, the guru, right? You see a lot of that on social media. So I think that was
no matter what you do, they're going to call you a guru. I think they're calling me a guru now. And I'm like, well, all right.
I wish we got that video of me getting kicked out of Lowe's too. Yeah. So like, you can't film me, sir, because you were just like up and down the aisles, getting in people's way.
Oh, that's nice. I never got to do that about Home Depot or
You're more famous. People to come up to you like, let me get in your video. I've seen you here like 10 times.
I think what the question with the community was, I mean, we kind of fell on this by accident. Obviously people in our DMs asking us questions and questions and questions. And, I was like, Ray, let's just open it up. And then I think I talked about this in a past video where we just started off with our finished project in Daly City, and we just invited people, and the outcome was actually kind of crazy. Like 30 people in a little house.
Or that was our first event. I think it was.
wow.
And then it was like, and then there was enough seats. Yeah. And then they kept asking for it. Like, hey, when's the next one? When's the next one? And then the rest was born. It's not like we had this grand vision of this is what it's going to become. And I think that's with a lot of our ideas. We never really had the end in mind. Like some of these smarter people that actually do. We just kind of like started, and then we learn and we implement a little bit different. We grow it a little bit different, and we just next thing you know, you're just looking back and you're like, damn, we built something.
And that's what I love about our community, actually. Like what you mentioned, they're pushing us. They're like, when's the next event? I'm excited. And I'm just like, dude, I'm tired. And I just running the business first and then thinking about events. But really, I love the energy that our community brings to us. I love the push. And it's just got me motivated, fired up to do more. Oh, yeah. And give back to them because they're asking for it. And it's kind of us taking on that responsibility, but it's exciting. Like we're gonna, branch off into new networks. We're gonna meet a whole bunch of new people. I think at our last event, I didn't recognize like more than half of the people there. So that's just amazing to me. And building this community that's just gonna be helping each other and just adding value to each other, like you. I mean, it's insane. It's more than like me or him or any one of us. Yeah, right.
Yeah. You're building what people want, and that's how you get that scalability and that exponential factor, right? Where every person in the community becomes a multiplier that then brings more value, more people, and that's how we're just gonna keep growing. And I want to go back around the capital raising part. So you both, knew about raising money, leveraging other people money pretty early on in the journey. And fractional is a new concept that you guys did this year where, instead of bring in one single private money lender for one deal, now it's, hey, let's open up the opportunity. Let's actually get a group of people, especially, from the school community that you guys run where everyone could put in a smaller check size. What led to that decision?
I mean, honestly, I just wanted to give it a shot because we've been doing like friends and family things, like on the side, like our personal relationships. So I just wanted to open that up, open the floodgates up, see who wants to jump in, see who wants to get their hands dirty and just have their first experience at investing or flipping with us is why I wanted to hear it.
I saw Grant Cardone do it. And so I was like, how the hell is he doing this? I always thought that you needed like a big SEC like department, like so that stuff scared me a little bit. But then you kind of came back and I was like, okay, so that's probably how he's doing it, at least I think. And then I was like, okay, well, this works. Let's open it up, and then that way the small guys can get in and learn. But before, if I had to go raise like and get like 5,000 from him and 5,000 from them, like it's a pain in the ass for me, right? I gotta like imagine just paying them out or doing the paperwork. I don't want to do that.
I didn't even want to figure out an engineer. I like bust it out on spreadsheets, but it's just way more complicated, way more paperwork. So Fractional just made it that much easier. And we could bring that value to them where they could work with us, kind of in tandem and just basically get their first flip done here.
And my thing is I just want to be compliant because honestly, we don't need to raise money this way. And so if we were to do it on our own and get in trouble, I mean, that could put you back like a few years. So thank you, Stella.
Absolutely. I mean, compliance is the number one thing for us. And, community is such a big part of our DNA as well. So we always want to help people that believe in a community and run communities be able to provide more value to their community members while doing everything right and not creating additional burden for the actual operator. So it's a true win-win in my opinion. And I'm curious, you guys are also exploring other avenues. I know Brian owns properties out of state as well. What is the 1 year horizon and kind of bigger picture for the community that you guys want to get into?
Well, I definitely want the community to learn a high income skill first, and then from there, evolve them into basically becoming property owners and taking that and, decreasing their tax and then increasing their wealth. And so the reason why we even got into out of state investing was because I had a lot of people in our communities and even in my offices say, well, I can't afford to buy in California. It's like, the average purchase price here is $1.5 million for something decent. 20% down, you got to put $300,000 down. That's almost like it's going to take them forever. And the thing is that I know that, even if you laid out the plan for somebody to save 300,000, the problem is life gets in the way. The new car is shiny, the purse or the watches, you end up blowing the money. But they with the out of state where that was born was, I said, okay, well, there are properties that are 120, $130,000. You only need 20%, which is what, 26,000. You could probably even get away with less. But I said, that's much easier for people on our team to save up. Right. And then once they buy the first one and they understand the proof of concept, they're hooked. Then now when you go out to the Rolex store and you're at the mall, you start realizing like, I'm not going to buy that because that's already 1/3 of my down payment on an Alabama property. And that's where,
See, we Alabama's for that watch.
that's the kind of which one you buy. But yeah, that's the thing. Like we always try to think of how can I make this easier for people? And, unless I do it, they're not going to be able to do it. Like I can't speak on something that I'm not doing. So that's why we started investing out of state. That's really why. Like, I don't want example. Yeah. I mean, the cash flow is good, but the appreciation is not the best. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But it's still, you get the appreciation, you get the cash flow, and then a little bit of appreciation.
And also with the community, not just learning how to invest and flip properly, but I think once we start like venturing out, creating that network, we're going to have people specializing in different things like lenders, private money loans. We're going to have people who know different GCs, good contractors, like our one of our guys, Paul Wong. He actually introduced us to another GC that's doing good work for him. So we're like, oh yeah. So everyone's bringing value some way or another. He was learning from us at first, but now he's also providing value to us and, wherever else in the community that needs it. So it's going to be one big working community that just helps everybody up,
I love that. That is beautiful.
The craziest thing about your fractional app that people don't like understand the real value is that the person who invests 10,000 today may be the person that invests 20 million tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You don't know where. Everybody wants to meet the Warren Buffett, the big names, right?
Big spenders.
Right? Like, they're like, oh my God, I would love to have lunch or dinner with them. But you don't know who's going to become the next Warren Buffett. And they might be in your community, right? Like 10 years ago, if you had banked on me as your friend, shoot, yeah, I'm one hell of a friend today. Think about that, right? Like 10 years ago, like,
And low.
yeah, like my wife, I was telling her, I said, look, you banked on the right horse. Like,
Good.
she married me for my looks. But then she realized I got brains too.
We're going to have to bring your wife onto the podcast or not.
She's starving.
Does it?
Yeah. So, I mean, the same thing, right? Like, for example, I love to bring up Miguel. Miguel is a part of our community. He's been a part of our community since the very beginning. He came to every single one. He's from Pittsburgh, California. The kid and everything going against him, right? And honestly, if you were to base his like trajectory, he wouldn't. You would think like he wouldn't go far. But I saw the hunger, I saw the grit, and then we just kind of do what we do best and encourage, uplift, and kind of like bank on this potential. Not saying like I knew we were going to do business together. It's not that, but I know that if I treat somebody well, when the opportunity arises, they're probably going to call me opposed to some rando. And believe it or not, Miguel he's now flipped 2 properties, done 2 wholesales with us. He actually joined our 50 Hills real estate brand. He opened an office out in Pleasant Hill. He's got like 5 agents under him. And on top of it, he consistently closes $1.5 to $2 million in deals every single month, traditional real estate. He's 21, 22. So he's, I don't want to throw it, but he's making 20, 30,000 a month at 22. Like, and that's because it's all him. But because we created the community, we whenever he called, we picked up, we did what we do. Like now we're just like embedded. And that's like, imagine him in 10 years.
Now, if you're coaching his team,
Yeah.
how to do the same thing. So, like you said, it just grows exponentially.
Yeah, he might be the next Mexican Grant Cardone. And then I'm going to be like 10 years from now, they're going to be like, bro, how do you know the Mexican Grant Cardone? I'm like, man, I've known him when he was nobody. Right? But that's why you don't write off people. Treat people with respect. Treat everybody right. Help who you can. You never know where they'll be 10 years from now. And then that relationship is going to really exponentially grow together.
Yeah, at first he was coming to us about like, hey, how do I look at this deal? Hey, how much should, rehab be? Hey, how do I analyze everything and get it right like you guys do? And then eventually now he's just like, hey, I think this is a good deal. Let's jump on it. All right, just bring the funding and I'll close it out.
Easy. Love it.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching your kids like go through graduation, right? Like as they're scaling up through the levels and
he's the golden child.
I love that. And on the flip side of that, I mean, you guys give back so much. You're up leveling other people. Where do you find inspiration and mentorship to, up level yourself? How do you seek that?
We're always, every opportunity I get, if I'm always reaching out to people. Like for example, Pace Morby invited us out to his office out in Arizona. I dropped what we were doing. I grabbed the guys and we put the flight and hotel. And so like, and we just got to see his operation. Oh, mind blowing. That was enough to like fire me up even more. And then obviously books, podcasts, whenever I'm down and out, I do try to put positive things in my head. And that always comes in the form of books, podcasts, you know, that's how we keep up leveling.
And I love local events too, because I get to like talk to meet and greet face to face, like people like you, right? I would have never met you if I didn't go to that. What's the Silicon Valley?
Yeah, the Aria, also that alley out in downtown San Jose.
You don't know. I met a guy who's like flipping hotels and stuff. I'm like, okay, I need to get with this network because they're doing things way above my pay grade, right? So if I get to know them, eventually maybe I'll get there or doing something similar to that, So I think that's the best way. Just go to local meetups or local events. And I want to do more of that. I need to push myself to do more of that now.
To go back, definitely hard. I'm not basis. The kids. But yeah, we try.
Balancing the family and events is tough because usually these events are at night too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very powerful in itself because a lot of newer investors, life gets in the way for them. And I've seen people use that as an excuse to not do things. And I think for you both to be leaders of the community where, you want to portray what a realistic life is and how, there's also so many different moving parts in all of you guys' lives, but you still find time to, to build, to up level and uplift other people and deliver results. And then also spend that quality time with family and on the more personal side as well. So I think that is a very holistic and realistic picture and why people still.
We don't do it well. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't do it well. I'm not balanced, but that I don't look at it like, again, people look at my day or my week and they're like, well, you work so much. I'm like, well, what about the next week when I didn't work and I was with the family, right? Like you have to look at the big picture and understand that in the big picture, I'm pretty balanced, but in the moment, no. And that's okay. So you got to teach your partner, you got to teach your family, you got to educate them. And obviously communication's key. And I communicate with them. I'm busy this week, but next week I'm all there. Right. And so there's fragments. It just can't be like every day it's going to be all balanced. That's how you get nothing done.
Yeah, like you touched on, it's give and take with your partner or wherever it is, your family members, because really, we have the real estate community, but really it comes down to your support structure at home and, all the family. I got my parents, I got my sisters, I got my in-laws to help out. So I'm blessed to have all that like at my fingertips and ready to help me whenever, right? So if I need to go to an event last minute, I could touch on someone and say, hey, could you just help me out with the kids a little bit, go to the event, I'll shake some hands and I get back, put them down to bed, we're good. Yeah. So it's a tough challenge and it's definitely a balancing act. And maybe you might sacrifice some time with the family at some points, which, we're giving now or sacrificing now for the long term, right? Where we see something, 5-10 years ahead that we're going to grow something so big that it'll help out everyone, not just the real estate community that we have, but also our own families. Like we're going to be able to like help them out in ways that we never thought of now.
Love it. Hey, I mean, life is only fun when there are challenges, right? So that's what we're here for. One last question. What is one piece of tactical advice that you give for someone that is looking to raise capital?
Give before you take. We, before raising capital, gave for, I don't know, years, really. Personally speaking, I gave for years. And now I like to say that my network is ready to be cashed in. And people are happy to let me cash in because of what I've done. And so document your journey, give, be kind. And it doesn't always have to be give money. I'm talking about like give your energy, your knowledge. And then when the time comes, like be genuine and prove to them that you actually know what the hell you're doing. The money will come.
I think on a side note on that, just branching off of that, it's about taking action, right? Like you're not going to start off asking for money from someone else to invest in your first project. You need to like prove it to yourself and also prove it to the people that you're going to be basically asking them to risk, their hard-earned money on. So take the action, whatever it is. Like I said, go to events and, try to get deals that way, get your first deal done and do it all with, kind of the resources you already have or partner, with someone like us, JV, with people who've done it already. And, that'll speak, way more than you just say, hey, I got a good deal. You want to invest in it? Most people are just going to say no. They don't have the confidence in you or the trust yet.
And I would also say build out a team. Building off of what Ray said, you may be good at finding deals, but you don't know how to do construction. You don't know how to do the raising capital part. Like partner with somebody, right? Like I don't. That's why I have a team. I have a big team, really, right? And so they're not just investing in me. They know that Ray here, the nerd, will do the nerd stuff, and then they got Brandon, the lawyer, who will do the lawyer stuff, and we got Jenna, who's going to do the project management stuff. And so it's like they're looking at us and like, well, there's no reason I wouldn't invest in because I'm not just investing in one individual. I'm investing in a whole group. Groups are powerful. That's it. Yeah.
Shucks kids.
Yeah. What else? Let me ask you a question. Stella, what drives you every day? Where did this motivation to start Fractional come from and create this community where you're helping a lot more people than us? Let's put it that way. How did this come about?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was really solving a personal pain point where I was at a spot where I wanted to scale and grow and was also very vocal about what I was doing. So similar to you, giving from an abundance mindset, telling my friends what I was up to, helping them understand real estate investing. And it kind of clicked at one moment where I needed to scale. I needed other people money. A lot of my friends wanted to be a part of it and to grow together, but there was really no systematic or structured way to actually go about, pulling $1 million from 40 of your friends without messing things up legally. I'm not an accountant. At one point, I remember typing on my spreadsheet, trying to calculate all my 40 friends, how much I should be paying them every quarter. Like that was such a huge headache. And I think the entrepreneur and all of us, we are action takers, right? It's like the moment you see a problem and you know that you're the person that has a unique advantage to solve it, that is your true calling where, you must absolutely put yourself through that, create something that's going to be magical to everyone else. So I am, always of an abundance mindset where I want to create value, where I'm, empowered to do so. And that's really the opportunity that we took with creating Fractional.
This abundance mindset, I've always wondered, because I have it, Ray has it, the people in my organization has it. But do you think you're born with it? Or do you think that it was a mindset shift that, you got from a book or something? Because I want more of the world to be in that abundant mindset. Because if they were, we'd be in a better place. It was it in you from the start?
That's a great question. I think people naturally have it in them. It's just a matter of is that mindset or is that feeling evoked in you? Is that something that's drawn out? And I do think that is really just a lot of it is based off of who you surround yourself with. And I am very methodical around who I surround myself with, which is why I feel like when I met you guys, there was like a natural drawing where it was like, I have to be friends with them. Like I can see that our values align. Like I want to be a part of what they're doing. And I think that is really the magic of creating a community is that you naturally just draw people who align with your values, want to create bigger and better things for everyone around them. And that just blossoms into something so beautiful. So I'm really excited for everything that you guys are going to build in the future. The Brian and Ray stonks are definitely going up. We didn't get out the floor, but there's still so much more to come. So
Get it early before the stock split.
But seriously, to everyone listening, I think there is just so much to be said about being a part of a rocket ship. Like that is truly the thing that's going to help you 100x what you're doing, right? Is if you're part of the environment that is growing so quickly in itself and you're running inside the rocket ship, you are going to the moon, right? And I truly think that's what the both of you are creating. So Thank you for coming on to the Fractional Show. I'm so excited for everything to come in the future.
Thank you, Stella. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Peace.